First question, Ben.
Ben Garrett, the Ole Miss Spirit. Kermit, a lot of your current players are out there right now. What kind of conversations have you had with them, and what has the response been when you talk to them?
You know, as I went through the process, and I have two teams for a while, and the only two things I was really worried about is my guys at Middle Tennessee and the Ole Miss players. And so we had a lot of great positive conversations with all of them, and talked about the process, and I would be down as soon as our team stopped playing. And so we on the phone today we had a great team meeting. They've all been very, very receptive. I think they know they're at a great university, and it's just a start, So and I told them, I said, guys, I don't come into one team meeting and think I know everybody, can figure somebody out. This is going to be a process. I said, but what you're going through here is natural, because I just left a locker room in Middle Tennessee, a culture of winning, and my guys are going through the same thing there. And so it's a healing process here, but they were real receptive, and I really enjoyed seeing them today.
Kermit, Neil McCready with Rivals.com. I know along those lines you don't know yet, but do you expect any attrition, or are you hopeful there's not any?
Yeah, you're hopeful it's not, and so, but sometimes attrition, it occurs with change, and we're sure gonna, like I said, I just met with them as a group, and so then I'm gonna be on the road, in and out recruiting, but the biggest thing for me is to get to spend some time with them individually. And so those are the things that are my staff and I will do over the next, 4 to 5 days.
Kermit, Parrish Alford with the Daily Journal. Obviously, your recent success has been well documented at Middle Tennessee. 8 or 9 years there, it looks like it took to really reach that level. What were those seasons like? What was going on there and building to the level that you have it now?
Yeah, and we're not going to have 8 or 9 years here. I promise you that. But it was a situation where we took over a program that was really, really struggling. They went to a new league. I hate to make excuses. We went through a ton of injuries for about a 4 or 5 year period. We were winning 18, 19 games. But you know what? It's the life of the mid-major, about having to win your conference tournament. Everybody sees NCAA upsets, and everybody says, wow, well, you know what? Those are the upsets in conference tournaments. All these teams you watch in NCAA tournaments, you know what? They all got beat in their conference tournaments, most of them. But nobody, it doesn't really matter because they're in already. And so it's just the magnitude of that tournament, but we're proud of kind of what we did the last 7 or 8 years.
Kermit, Antonio Morales from the Clay Ledger. The expectation here is to make the NCAA tournament every year. How do you make that happen?
Well, number one is that the strength of returning players is that we've got to improve those guys. There's talent in that room. There's talent, and so we've got to individually get their development to go up. The culture of bringing other guys in the spring is going to be critical for it. And you're in a league that maybe next year 8 or 9 teams will go. And so, we have a system of play. And it's a system of play we know how to recruit to. We know exactly what we think Ole Miss needs to be successful in this system of play. And I just think with this product itself, we're going to get good players.
Kermit, Davis Potter, Oxford Eagle, you put together your rosters at Middle Tennessee with a lot of transfers. I know that's part of just the climate of the game today, but do you anticipate doing the same thing here, or do you go out and sign and develop more high school players?
The strength is Giddy Potts, high school player, Reggie Upshaw, high school player, Ed Simpson, a high school player from St. Martin's High School. So we're going to do it with a balance. Here in the SEC, you need to do it with high school players. You need to do it with high school players, but you know what? You can, under the SEC guidelines, you can go out. When I was at LSU, we signed the #1 junior college player in America 3 years in a row. So you can do that. And then there may be a grad transfer out there this year that fits a whole need. But I think as your program gets hold, we're going to do it with dominating with high school guys.
Where are you in terms of your assembling your staff? How far along are you?
Yeah, we're going to. I brought 2 guys with me, and they'll be officially introduced. I hope we can officially introduce them today off of my staff.
They're good.
Are we good? Okay. Because I'm going to bring Ronnie Hamilton and Wynn Case with me off of my staff. Greg Grenzing is going to be the interim coach at Middle Tennessee, and he is interviewing for the job that I left. And I'm going to have a process of interviewing all the guys that are on the current staff, and I know all of them. I know Reem, I know Tony, I know Ty, I know all those guys. And then decide, and we'll do a national search also for the 3rd full-time spot. And the one thing that Ross has done now, he has given us the means to go out and hire as good a staff as anybody in the SEC. And we're going to do it. But I feel great with our guys here.
Kermit, Brian Rippey on MissSports.com. Murfreesboro is somewhere you've been for, over a decade and a half. At what point did you know this was kind of the right step to take?
As the process goes on, and when I met with Chancellor Bitter and Ross, it was just one of those things that I knew it was the right place for me. Like I said up there, I wanted to align myself with leadership that I trust, aggressive thinking leadership, and then obviously leadership that is committed. They're all in with Ole Miss basketball. And so the infrastructure is there, and obviously the things that I feel about coming home to Mississippi, being in the Southeastern Conference, it was all just it was a perfect fit for me.
Courtney Smith was the Riverwalk coach. Ross, you handed you the red blazer. Is there any timeline on when you're gonna, try it on and make sure it fits?
I'll wear it my first game next year, but I'm gonna wear it out. I promise you that now. I think it'll fit, but I will wear that thing proudly. It'll be real soon.
Kermit, now that you've played, you had that game yesterday, and you've done this introductory thing today, how would you describe the past 24 hours?
It's like I said, it was emotional. Last night in the locker room, and Louisville played great, and I was so proud of our team, what we did throughout the year, and then you leave that and you ride home and you kind of reflect on that bus ride to Murfreesboro. Then you get up this morning, you start packing, and you start thinking about the players here, and so it has been. It's been a 24 hours of great energy, but just mentally, a lot of different emotions go through.
Sorry, not to kind of belabor the point about constructing the roster, but how do you kind of approach that when you don't necessarily know if there's going to be attrition? You don't know if the kids signed in November are going to stick around. Recruiting to the amount of spots. I mean, how do you start to kind of figure that out and lay it out?
That's just the ball juggling of new jobs, and everybody goes through it. I don't care if you're a new SEC football coach, a new basketball coach at Middle Tennessee, Ole Miss. It's just the landscape of it. All we can do is this. We've talked to all of the signees, in the fall, and they feel very good. We're going to stop, we'll go see Zach Naylor, we're going to go see Sorrell in Florida and see his mom, and so those are things that that's just part of the process. I mean, there's no easy things in transition, there's no givens, and so it's just, but we're going to take our time. We're not going to rush into things. We're not going to sign guys that we don't think fit here. We're going to take our time, and we're going to do our due diligence with the guys that are here and with the guys that they've signed in the fall.
Kermit, there are people who believe that it's difficult to recruit to Ole Miss, a hard place to bring in talent. What's your assessment of that? Do you see obstacles? What do you think that will be like for you?
This is not recruiting talk. I'm just talking about a guy that's watched this. I mean, how is it difficult here? You play in the best basketball league in America. You're in this unbelievable place, maybe the best college town in all of sports in America. You've got per seats, it's the nicest arena, the TUI Center. I'm in heaven. I think we're carrying a big bat. We're carrying a big bat in recruiting. I know a lot of people in the SEC have them too, but I just think we've got an experience that you could really, really sell.